Welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football, the only show by real fantasy football fans for real fantasy football fans. I'm your host, 20-year fantasy veteran and Bears fan in mourning, Greg Reifsteck.
And I'm your co-host, Jenilee Borek, also a 10-year fantasy veteran. I am a Bears fan, but I refuse to wear Bears gear right at the moment. And together we are the beauty
And the beast
of fantasy football experts.
So yeah, I'm agreeing with Jenilee, just the Bears. We have nothing really to root for this season anymore. But thank goodness, it's week 14, and that means the playoffs for a lot of you out there in fantasy football land. So you at least have something to root for.
Playoffs.
Playoffs!
So how many have you made? How many teams have you made the playoffs on?
Out of...
Leagues, I should say.
Out of 5 leagues, I'm in 2 playoffs, guaranteed. The third one, my work league, I'm leaning on the precipice there. I need a win this week to eke myself in so I can win 120 smacks. Yep.
And I made it in the playoffs in all 3 of my leagues, as I predicted.
Yep.
I am going in 4th in one, 5th in our biggest balls of them all league, and possibly between 2nd, 1st, and 3rd in the other one. We have one more regular week of that one. So.
Yeah, let's run down the standings here. I know Prost is in 1st. We'll talk to him in a little bit and let him gloat. He's at 9-4. Ragin' Fitz is at 9-4. The LA Rams in 2015, Jason Tufeld at 8-5. Reels Mania, good old Raheel out there, 8-5. Chi-Town's finest, you're looking at her, 7-6. The ex-presidents, Ryan, down there in San Diego, good looking out there, 7-6. Cash, hanging in there at 7-6. And then bringing up the rear, and definitely not even close to the playoffs, it's Cutler's Last Stand, aptly named, I might add, probably, at 5-8. And then unfortunately, we have Ashley and the Cash Millionaires at 3-10. And then mildly offensive, our resident Patriots fan and legal expert, AJ Lawrence. Sorry. Do we give prizes for last place in our league?
I don't know if we've discussed that, so we'll have to figure out if there should be some type of terrible fantasy player prize.
I was going to set up a award ceremony, but somebody's going to be out of town on our Tin Horn Flat show. But we'll do one. We'll have to do one after the new year. Well, either that, or we'll see what place you come in. I mean, hey, you could do one of those like on the Video Music Awards. Jenilee Borek can't be here tonight, but she's skiing in the Alps, and shh.
Fingers crossed. I'm the only female that made the playoffs.
Oh my God, that's right.
League, so
that's right.
I'm representing for all the females out there. Come on, let's get it on.
Lots of fantasy women out there. So let's get into the Bears really briefly. Again, agree with you. We're not wearing any Bears stuff until you damn team, you better win. Mark Trestman, we've had high points of his coaching, definitely a low point in his coaching this week.
Yeah, the last few games, I will say, have been a little sketchy with his coaching. So seems totally different than the beginning of the season was, when it was very smooth sailing. We don't even deserve the playoffs, in my opinion, and I'm a huge Bears fan, but when you lose to a team that's 2-8-1, I don't think you deserve to be amongst playoff teams, and I doubt that we'll get there. And I was happy that he actually kicked 2 field goals in the game, because he hadn't been kicking field goals.
Right.
So he took the points when we were there, and we were up for a while. Yeah. And that last field goal, I know that everyone's debating it. I've been listening to some Chicago radio, and you know how we are. on our
Oh,
coaches.
no. Oh, we're so nice to our coaches and our players. When they do badly, we just, hold them high on a pedestal in Chicago.
But I just think it was a situation that had we won the game, it's like nobody would be talking about it.
Right.
And I'm not saying don't try to get closer. It was second down. Maybe it wasn't the best decision to go ahead and kick it. But I do think he just wanted, he really believed in Robbie Gould, and he wanted to get the game over with and figured, we're indoors as well. You're not outside in the elements. Robbie should be able to make this field goal. And, you can play the what-if game of, okay, well, what if you got those 7 yards or you got 10 yards closer? But what if you ran the ball and got tackled behind the yard of, this yard of scrimmage?
Right. Then we'd be blaming him for that then.
And we'd be blaming him for that. So it's just, it just didn't work out. But had it worked out, everyone would have been happy in Bears land.
Yeah. Bears fantasy-wise worked out. Yet another great week for McCown. An incredible, record-breaking week for Alshon Jeffrey, our stud.
And I couldn't even be happy about it because I was playing against him. Yeah. So it was very hard for me because I want to be very happy for him, but it was difficult.
And how did B. Marsh do?
B. Marsh did not do good. I am ready for Cutler to come back only so that B. Marshall can catch the ball and actually get some footballs thrown his way.
Yeah.
He didn't even get many targets this game. So I don't know how you don't throw to your number one wide receiver. That's a little odd to me. You would think that you want to keep Brandon Marshall happy overall on the team.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, A, I think it's play calling, and B, I think it's you have receivers that do, fall in love with the quarterbacks and vice versa. They get the simpatico going, and they look to that person first. It just happens. And it's a case of, I think, McCown was on the practice squad forever. And he got used to, just throwing to the other receivers as opposed to, Bennett got a few good looks this game. Both Bennett's got a few good looks this game, which was rare. So it is what it is, for crying out loud.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be an interesting game. We're on Monday Night Football against the Cowboys.
Jesus.
It's going to be really cold in Chicago, which always changes it. It's that time of season. And, I don't know. I feel like we could still possibly pull off a win. Dallas is up and down, up and down, up and down as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get too excited.
And Tony Romo, how he likes to shit the bed down the stretch, heading to the playoffs.
And I need him to not shit the bed because I have him as my quarterback. So he can shit the bed this week because we're not in the playoffs in that league. But the next two, I need Romo to be on it.
This is the wonderful, delicate, beautiful balance and horribleness of fantasy versus reality football. You just covered it in a nutshell.
I did, because I was bummed out on Sunday about Alshon, and I should have been so excited.
Yeah. I kept turning. I'm like, Alshon, points for me, and she's just like, screw you.
But it was an amazing record he set, and good for you, Alshon. If it weren't for fantasy, I would have been just up there screaming and being as excited as Greg.
Yeah, we've got the best 1-2 punch in receiving right now, and we should just enjoy that because on offense things are going good, and on defense we won't even talk about it. If you still are playing them in your fantasy league, good for you. I wouldn't be. I dumped them a long time ago. Anyway, let's be positive. Let's get happy. Let's get some good picks. We're going to have special picks that we think are the key players you really need going into the playoffs. Most of these are going to be repeats from early in the season, but these are solid players, just really, really hardcore players that if you don't have them in your lineup, you're just crazy.
Yeah, and of course we're looking at the matchups too, so I think that you have to trust a lot of your players. If you're going out there to look on the waiver wire for guys, to play in the playoffs, you're probably not going to find many guys. You absolutely have to trust your players at this point that you have and kind of pray they have good matchups.
Yep, weeks 14, 15, and 16. That's what you're looking for. Alrighty, let's get on with the real men.
Let's do it.